Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to talk about the formatting and customizing the visuals. On my screen, I have created few visuals. So let's go to each of them and check what are the different options of formatting that are present for them. So for example, if you have to format any kind of visual, first you need to select that visual. Then over here in the visualizations pane, you will go and just beside this build visual part, we have this format visual part. You will click over here. You will get multiple options depending on the kind of visual you have made. So the first option you can see over here is the visual. The second one is the general option. So over here, if you click on the visual option, here you will get the option to change the legend. So here you can even turn on or turn off the legend. Now what is exactly is a legend? So you can see over here, there are various colors depicting each category of this donut chart. So on the right hand side, it is showing that which particular color belongs to which region. That is our legend. Now, let's say if you want to adjust the positioning of this legend, you can select this positioning option. Right now, the option is of center right. I can select top left, top center, top right. It is not showing to us because we haven't kept it in full screen mode and it was acquiring a small space. So over here on the legend, if you want to increase or decrease the text size, or you want to change the font, or let's say if you want to make it bold, italic, or even underline it, all the options are present over here. Then we also have the change of color over here for the text of this legend text. So let's say I want to keep it as the color of shade of orange. I can change it from over here. Then after this, I have the title option. So I can even turn off or on the title. So over here, you can see the title for this particular legend is region. So I can turn it off from over here. Then if you expand it again, what is the title that is showing over here? So you can customize that title also. I'm sorry, the next option is slices over here. So every slice over here is showing some different color. Now let's say if you want to change that color of slice over here, the central slice is showing me with color blue. If I want to change the color, I can click on this and I can change the color to any color. Let's say I want to keep it purple. So I can change the colors from over here. After that, I have this spacing option. So over here, the inner radius that is showing, I can increase or decrease the size of it. So you have this slider over here. You can adjust the size and it would then adjust the size of this inner circle. Then we have the detail labels option. Over here, you can customize these detail labels. So right now they are outside. If you want to keep it inside, you can keep them inside also. Since right now these slices are too small, so that's why you can keep it outside. Or let's say if they are smaller in not smaller in size, and if you want to keep an inside, so you can also select this option of prefer inside, which would then adjust your this slices details accordingly. Right now I would keep it to outside. Then it would ask you what is the label contained that is showing over here. So right now it is the data value and the percent of total. Let's say if you only want to show the percentage, so you can select the percent of total from over here and it would only show you the percentage. Then we have the rotation option. So if you want to rotate this donut chart, you can also slide this rotation and it would rotate your donut chart accordingly. If you are not liking these options, you can reset them to default. Then we have the general option. In this general option, first I have the property where I can increase or decrease the height of this visual. If you want to lock the aspect ratio, let's say if you're working in a specific aspect ratio, and if you want to lock it, you can also use this log aspect ratio option. Then we also have the positioning option. You can adjust the horizontal and vertical positioning of your visual. Then we have the padding option. Padding option would provide a wide space along all sides of your visual. So let's say if you want to provide the right side padding or the left side padding, you can increase the pixels from over here. We also have the option to increase or decrease the top and bottom padding. Then we have the advanced options, which is used for the layer purpose. Then we have the title option. This title option would be used to change the title of this visual. Over here, right now, the title is sum of sales. Let's say I want to just rename it to sales. I can rename this title from over here. You can see the title has now changed to sales. Again, what kind of title is it? Is it heading 3, heading 2, normal heading? So you can change the options from over here. Then we have the option to make it bold, italic, change the text color, adjust the alignments, and also add a subtitle. Let's say right now the subtitle is regional sales. So I can turn this subtitle on and I can write over here regional sales. You can see after the title, this subtitle would appear. Now again, you can customize this subtitle as how it would be shown in terms of heading 2, heading 3, normal heading. Then we have the option to change the font type, font size, make it bold, italic, underline, and even change the text color. Also, we can fix this alignment by using this alignment option. Then we have the effects option. So let's say if you want to provide any background color and you want to increase or decrease its transparency, you can control it with this part. So let me apply a background color quickly, increase or decrease the transparency, and also you can apply the visual border. So let's say if I just go back to the report, apply the visual border. So you can see this border has now been shown over here just around this visual. Then also you can add a shadow to your visual. I will go back again to this option, general, effects, and shadow. A shadow effect would come to your visual. Now this is very good looking when you are working with the cards. So whenever you are making any cards and you are using a specific number over there. So let's say that I'm using this card. I made a card and here in data, I'm just keeping the sum of sales. So I will drag and drop the sales over here. Now what you can do is you can go to the format option by selecting this visual. And over here in the effects, you can give this shadow. So it is giving you this shadow effect and it is looking good right now. So this is how you can customize your visuals in terms of effect. Again, going back to the page one, go back to the general options. Then we have this header icon options where you can change the color of these header icons. You can change the background color. So you can see the background color has now changed. It's not looking good. So I will just roll it back to the white color. Then we have the border color, the icon, and also the transparency. Over here, if you go in this icon, so what kind of icons would be shown over here? It would just can be turned on and off from this parts. So let's say if you don't want to show this focus mode. So this is a focus mode. If you don't want to show it, you can turn it off from over here. So it won't be showing you the focus mode file. Then we have the tooltips option. So let's say if you want to add or remove the tooltips and you don't want to show it, you can do this things from over here. Then we have the text option. So if you want to control the overall text of this visual, you can control it from this part. And also you can add the background colors and transparency again. So these were some of the important options of formatting in the visual. And this was generally for different types of visuals. Now, this is not limited to just donut chart. So let's say if you are working with any other chart, so you'll be getting some more options in that part. For example, I have the other visuals over here as well. So let's go to the table option now. This table visual, if I go to the visual part only, you can see some more options are not visible over here. The first one is the style preset. So right now, whenever you are working with a table data, there would be some style presets that would be showing, same as the MX Excel kind of thing. So over here, right now, the style is default. You can change the style to, let's say, minimal. And you can see now the style of this table has changed. Again, we have bold header over here, which would make the header bold. Alternating rows, which would then color the alternating rows. So right now, the alternating rows have been colored to gray. Then we have contrast alternating rows, which would basically put this alternating rows in some contrast. So this is how you can work with different kind of styles. Then we have the grid option over here. So let's say if you want to color this grid, the horizontal grid, you can choose the color from over here. So let's select a dark color and what would be the width that you want to keep for that grid. So I can increase or decrease this width from over here. And you can see this is now appearing. So it's not like that you have to turn on this horizontal grid and you have to increase the width. I am just showing you for an illustration purpose that this is where the horizontal grid shows. Then you also have the option to turn on or off this vertical grid line. So you can see this wide grid line has now appeared. So again, if you want to change the color or increase or decrease the width, you can control it with this part. I will just put this quickly in this focus mode. So we can see the changes. Then again, we have the border option. So if you want to add the left, right, top or bottom borders, you can control it with this part. Also, you can change the color of the border and width of the border. Then we have the values option. So here, the values, which is basically the market and the sum of quantities are showing. So if you want to increase or decrease the font size, change the font size, make them bold, you can do it from this part. Also, you can change the text color and the alternating text color from over here. Right now, since my table is set to a style where the alternating rows are highlighted. So you can change the alternating text color from this part. Also, you can change the alternated background color also. Then we have the columns header option where you can control the text, size, and alignment of the text. So here you can see there are multiple options present, and in all these options, basically the items that are listed are the same. That is the font type, font size, font color, background color. So you don't have to confuse yourself. Here you will find different customization options for each of the visual. Over here, you have the other options as well, such as the image sizes and the URL icons, if you want to show any kind of URL icons. So we will talk about this in the upcoming sessions. For now, these were just some general formatting options. Now let's go to another visual and see, are there any different kind of options present? So let's go to line chart this time. I will select the line chart, and over here, now you can see that whenever we are creating any graph which has x-axis and y-axis, we will be getting this x and y-axis values over here. So again, I will put it in the focus mode. Here you can see I have x-axis, the values which are on the x-axis. You can change the font type, font size, the title for that axis. Then we have the y-axis option and the values that have been showing in that y-axis. Suppose you don't want to see the values on y-axis, you can turn off these values. If you don't want to see the title on y-axis, you can turn off this title. We also have the secondary y-axis option, which would be shown on the right hand side if you are creating any dual kind of chart, which is showing you two things. For example, profit and sales. You can control the secondary y-axis from this part. If you want to show the grid lines or not show them, you can control it with this part. Right now, I am able to see the horizontal as well as the vertical grid lines. Let's say I don't want to see that. I want to make my visual a bit clean. So I can turn these horizontal grid lines off. I can do the same thing with the vertical grid lines. If you want to see these grid lines for just for the sake of the purpose of reference, you can turn it on. Also, you can change the color. You can increase or decrease the transparency, and you can also change the style for this. So this is one new thing that we saw in this one. You can change it to dashed, and also you can increase or decrease the width. Then we have the lines option. Here, if you want to change the type of this line, you can change it. Also, you can increase or decrease the width and what kind of line it is. You can also change the color for this line. The next important part is the markers part over here. So right now, I don't have any reference point. I'm just going on the top of every year, and then I'm able to see what is the sum of sales that has been done in reference to this y-axis. Now let's say I want to see the markers over here. I can turn on or off the markers from this part. Also, if you want to see the numbers over here, you can go in the data labels option and turn on the data labels. If I increase this marker part, here you have the option to change the shape of this marker and the size of this marker. Also, you can control the colors. Next part is the data labels. So again, you have the option of changing this label density, the offset, and if you want to show any kind of title over there. So these were some of the options that would be used whenever you are using any visual that involves these kind of line charts. The same would be done when you will be having this area chart. Now let's go to the tree map and see is there anything different. So if you select tree map, again we have got this legend option, the colors option. So the colors option here would be used to control each of that area that is present in the tree map. So I will just increase the size of this tree map for now. You can also add some data labels. So right now the central region is there, but I'm not able to verify what is the sales being made by that central region. So I can turn on this data labels from over here. And now you can see the central region is making 2.82 million sales. Then you have the category labels option. Here you can change the font type and font size. Then moving to the general option. So these will be pretty much same for every visual. There you will be having the option of changing the properties, adding padding, changing the position in the vertical and horizontal direction, changing the title text, adding the subtitle, dividers, spacing, and adding the effects to the visuals. So these would be some of the common formatting options that would be present in every visual. Now, if you want to see the visual specifics, you have to select this visual and you have to see this part visual. And if you go to the general part, you will be able to see the general formatting options that are present for every kind of visual. So we have already created some of these charts and we have seen the formatting options while you were working with this. So you can again make every visual as an exercise, and you can go in the general and visual options and change the formats in order to make it according to your company's theme or any kind of domain theme that you're working on right now. This was all for this session. In the next session, we'll be talking about some visualization interactions. Thank you.